Reborn Uchiha Itachi Power, I Solo 5 Kage. Welcome funds. Enjoy exclusive audiobook experiences right here. For full access to complete stories, visit my website or support me on Patreon, links are in the description. Episode 1, Tobirama Uchiha's grades are too good. Thanks to Tobirama Sensei's guidance. Early summer of the 32nd year of Konoha. The Ninja Academy's training ground was already bustling with activity. On the high platform, the third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, wearing a divine robe and holding a pipe, was giving a passionate speech. Where the leaves dance, the fire never dies out. The firelight will illuminate the village and cause new leaves to sprout. The group of kids in the audience, who had just received their headbands, were filled with excitement, their eyes shining, wishing they could rush to the battlefield right now and shed their blood for Konoha. But I was at the very back of the line. Tobirama Uchiha yawned, his eyes full of helplessness. How many years has Hiruzen Sarutobi been reciting this phrase? They don't find it cloying at all. This isn't the Will of Fire, this is clearly the most advanced pyramid scheme brainwashing session in the ninja world. It's just fooling these kids who've never seen blood. As a transmigrator, Tobirama Uchiha was perfectly aware of the situation. The Second Shinobi World War has just begun, and the situation at the front lines is critical. This old man is eager to send this batch of newly graduated genin to the battlefield. They call them newly sprouted leaves, but they're really just fresh cannon fodder. What bad luck. Tobirama touched his headband, inwardly complaining. Being reborn as an orphan of the Uchiha clan is bad enough, but to make matters worse, it happens to be in this chaotic world. Fortunately, his talent in this life was passable. He awakened the two Tomoe Sharingan at the age of 12, and was even hailed as a genius by a few old fogies in the clan. But he was merely a genius. In this battlefield where human life is as cheap as grass, a genius who hasn't yet matured dies faster than anyone else. Just as Tobirama was pondering how to survive on the battlefield, a sudden ding sounded in his mind. Ding! Host's resentment has reached the required level. Naruto King's system successfully bound. New player gift pack has been sent out. Would you like to claim it? Tobirama paused for a second, then his lips curled into a wide smile. The cheat program has arrived. What's the point of hiding? Claim. Ding! Congratulations, host, you have obtained 3 Tomoe Sharingan, instant evolution. Ding! Congratulations, host, you have obtained Uchiha-style Shuriken throwing technique, max level, divine mastery. Ding! Congratulations, host, you have obtained complete guide to fire release ninjutsu, mastery. Ding! Congratulations, host, you have obtained complete guide to lightning release ninjutsu, mastery. Boom! A warm current instantly rushed into my limbs and bones. Tobirama felt as if his eyes had been burned by fire, scalding, sore, and then suddenly clearer than ever before. The world had changed in his eyes. The wind's path, the trembling of leaves in the distance, and even the pause on Hiruzen Sarutobi's face on the stage were all clearly visible. 3 Tomoe. This is a threshold that an ordinary Uchiha clansman might never be able to reach in his entire life, yet he had it right from the start. And that mind full of ninjutsu knowledge, it's like an innate instinct, etched into his bones. At this moment, Tobirama Uchiha just wanted to laugh out loud. Screw cannon fodder. Human beings have their limits. But, from this moment on, I'm a cheat code. Alright, dismissed. Everyone, follow your respective jonin instructors and begin your mission. The story of Hiruzen Sarutobi has finally ended. Cheers erupted on the playground. The teachers in charge began to lead the students. A chunin instructor walked over with a list and called out, Team 7, Tobirama Uchiha, Jiro Tanaka, AI Suzuki. Follow me. Tobirama suppressed his overwhelming joy and followed the group back to the classroom. The classroom was in a chaotic atmosphere, with everyone guessing who their mentor, the jonin, was. The door was pushed open with a bang. A beautiful blonde woman with long, wavy hair walked in. Even in loose combat gear, her well-proportioned figure was still undeniable, especially the bulging armor on her chest, which was particularly eye-catching. Tsunade. She is no longer the fat sheep who always loses at gambling, but Tsunade, the Konoha princess who has just made a name for herself on the battlefield. Tsunade glanced around, her gaze lingering on Tobirama Uchiha for 2 seconds before her brows furrowed tightly. 3 of you from Class 7, come with me. Her tone was harsh, as if someone owed her 5 million taels of silver. Tanaka Jiro and Suzuki AI, the 2 ordinary extras, were so excited that their faces turned red, and they followed behind them eagerly. Tobirama walked last, but a question began to linger in his mind. Have these 3 old men lost their minds? To put him, an Uchiha, as Tsunade's apprentice from the Senju clan? Isn't this like throwing a cigarette butt into a powder keg? Everyone knows that the Uchiha and Senju are sworn enemies. Although they no longer fight openly, they've been sabotaging each other behind the scenes. Is this an attempt to win me over? Or is it to have Tsunade monitor me? Tobirama watched Tsunade's murderous back and sneered. No matter what their intentions are, as long as their own strength is strong enough, all their schemes and tricks are just paper tigers. At this moment, Tsunade, who was walking ahead, was also in an extremely bad mood. That old man is really senile. She was seething with anger. It's one thing to give her 2 commoner burdens, but to give her an Uchiha as well. He was an Uchiha named Tobirama. Is this name deliberately meant to be offensive? That's her second grandfather's name. How much do this brat's parents hate the Senju clan to give their child such a name just to take advantage of them? Just looking at that fan-shaped family crest makes me feel annoyed. Tsunade gritted her teeth, her fists clenching so tightly they cracked. If it weren't for the greater good of the village, she would have loved to throw this brat back to the Uchiha clan's territory right now. Third training ground. A dense forest with a clearing in the middle. Tsunade turned around, crossed her arms, and an immense sense of oppression washed over her. Let me introduce myself. She slightly raised her chin, her face exuding arrogance. My name is Tsunade. I like gambling. I like straightforward things, and I hate indecisive people and old men. Since you've been assigned to my class, don't expect me to take care of you like a babysitter. Tanaka Jiro quickly stepped forward, stammering, I'm Tanaka Jiro, I like ramen, and my dream is to become Hokage. Suzuki AI blushed. My name is Suzuki AI. I like flower arranging, and I hate bugs. 2 typical examples of cannon fodder. Tsunade didn't listen to a word she heard. Her gaze was fixed directly on Tobirama Uchiha. Tobirama, unfazed, stepped forward, a playful smile playing on his lips. Tobirama Uchiha. I love all beautiful things, like powerful ninjutsu, beautiful scenery. I hate everything that annoys me, especially pointless probing. Tsunade narrowed her eyes. That kid's pretty arrogant. They actually dared to make a veiled meaning in their words. Very good. Quote. Tsunade sneered and cracked her knuckles. You all know the current situation. The front lines are in complete chaos. I don't have time to play games with you. I don't have time to teach you how to throw shurikens. Today's test is simple. Attack with the determination to kill me. If you can make me take half a step back, or hold on for 10 minutes without falling, you'll pass. You have 5 minutes to discuss tactics. After saying that, Tsunade leaned against the tree trunk, closed her eyes to rest, and completely ignored the 3 brats. Tanaka Jiro and Suzuki AI panicked. This is the legendary survival exercise? Our opponents are Jonin. What do? We definitely can't win. The 2 were completely bewildered and could only look at the only member of the group who came from a wealthy family. Tobirama remained calm and glanced at the 2 of them. It's very simple. When the fight starts, you 2 can either watch from the sidelines or feint attacks to cover me. I'll be the main attacker. Huh? Tanaka Jiro was dumbfounded. This won't work, will it? What else? You're just delivering food up there, just don't block my way. After Tobirama finished speaking, he ignored the expressions on the 2 people's faces and turned to face Tsunade. It's settled. Tobirama called out. Tsunade opened her eyes, her gaze sharp. Then let's begin. The words had barely left his mouth. Swish, swish. 2 figures were sent flying backward. Before they could even see how Tsunade moved, Tanaka Jiro and Suzuki AI were already hanging from a tree branch in the distance, their eyes rolled back, foaming at the mouth, and unconscious. Sold out instantly. That's how cruel it is for true Jonin, high-ranking ninja, to fight Genin, low-ranking ninja. Only Tobirama Uchiha remained on the field. Tsunade clapped her hands, as if brushing off dust. The hindrance is gone, now it's your turn, you Uchiha brat. A mocking smile curved her lips. Let me see if you're qualified to call yourself that. Tobirama took a deep breath, and the chakra within his body instantly boiled. Those black pupils suddenly changed. It turned blood red in an instant. 3 black magatama slowly rotated in his pupils, emitting an eerie light. Tsunade's eyes narrowed. 3 tomoe? How old is this kid? 12? Didn't the intelligence report say it had 2 tomoe? Body instantaneous movement technique. Before Tsunade could even finish her surprise, Tobirama had already moved. Quick. Incredibly fast. With the stimulation of his cells by lightning release chakra, coupled with the dynamic capture of the 3 tomoe, his speed has surpassed the limits of a jonin and even reached the threshold of Kage level. Fireball technique. The person was in midair, their hands forming hand seals so fast that only afterimages remained. 6 prints per second. Boom! A massive fireball, over 5 meters in diameter and accompanied by a blast of heat, hurtled directly towards Tsunade's face. The size of that fireball was far beyond what a genin could unleash. That's interesting. Tsunade shouted and advanced instead of retreating. She didn't need to form any hand seals, she simply raised her right foot, and chakra instantly gathered at her heel. Heavenly Guard kick. Boom! The ground instantly shattered. Countless fragments of rock flew up like bullets, forming a wall of earth and stone that forcefully blocked the bombardment of the fireball. Flames collided with rubble, sending up plumes of smoke and dust. It's not over yet. Through the smoke, Tobirama's voice came coldly. Shuriken manipulation technique, balsam flower. A dozen shuriken, wreathed in flames, traced eerie arcs, bypassing the earthen wall and shooting towards Tsunade from all directions. Each shuriken is connected to an almost invisible steel wire. A trivial skill. Tsunade snorted coldly, her body twisting and turning in midair with incredible agility, perfectly dodging all the attacks. But that's exactly what Tobirama wanted. He suddenly pulled on the steel wire in his hand. Sizzle! A flash of lightning. The steel wire was instantly covered with blinding lightning. Lightning release, web spider. This is a small technique he created by combining knowledge from the original Naruto manga with his mastery of lightning release. If the other party dares to dodge, they will fall into this net of lightning. Quote. Tsunade felt a numbing sensation in the surrounding air, and her expression finally changed. This level of combat intelligence is something a recent graduate could never possess. Fire release, feint attack, shuriken to seal the position, lightning release to close the net. Each step is intricately linked, ruthless and precise. Break it for me, UB***********D. Tsunade was furious. She was genuinely a little angry. To be driven to this point by a 12-year-old brat, how can you not have any shame? She slammed her fist into the ground. Superhuman strength punch. A terrifying power erupted directly from her center. The earth felt as if it had been violently kneaded by an invisible giant hand. All the steel wires, traps, and surrounding trees were shattered to pieces in that instant. The violent shockwave sent Tobirama flying. Tobirama did several somersaults in the air before landing steadily. 2 deep furrows had been plowed into the grass beneath our feet. He gasped for breath, feeling his blood surging. Are these the future legendary Sannin? Is this Tsunade's monstrous strength? He's practically a humanoid Tyrannosaurus Rex. If that punch had landed on me, I'd probably be turned into a pile of minced meat. The smoke and dust cleared. Tsunade stood amidst the ruins, her clothes dusty and her hair slightly disheveled, but unharmed. But her eyes had completely changed. The gaze was no longer that of a child, but that of a true opponent. Uchiha Tobirama. Tsunade murmured the name, her expression complex. 3 Tomoe Sharingan, proficiency in fire release and lightning release, and this seasoned combat intuition. Looks like the old man didn't trick me this time, he actually gave me a monster instead. Tobirama straightened up and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. Cool. This is the kind of battle he wants. Every punch landed squarely, a fight to the death. Pure, unadulterated combat thrills. Although it was only a brief exchange, he could feel every cell in his body cheering. The Sharingan operated wildly during the battle, recording Tsunade's every move. Hey, Tsunade-sensei. Tobirama suddenly laughed, a laugh filled with the arrogance characteristic of Uchiha. He slowly formed a hand seal that he had never seen before. The chakra within his body began to compress wildly, emitting a sharp bird-like cry. That was the ultimate manifestation of the nature transformation of lightning release chakra. Is the warm-up over? Now, I'm going to show my true strength. Don't let me overwhelm you. Upon hearing this, the veins on Tsunade's forehead bulged instantly. You brat, how dare you look down on me? If I don't beat the shit out of you today, I'm not Tsunade. Boom! Tsunade's aura exploded completely, and terrifying chakra shot into the sky as if it were tangible. The ground beneath her feet collapsed again. The next second, like 2 shooting stars, the 2 figures collided violently once again in this small training field. Episode 2, Tsunade's approval, greatly enhanced strength, Old Deng's summoning. Chidori. It sounded as if 1,000 birds were screaming at the same time. A piercing crackling sound of electricity exploded instantly, and blue-white lightning enveloped Tobirama's right hand, ionizing the surrounding air and giving it a burnt smell. Tsunade's pupils suddenly contracted. This is a chakra nature transformation? Before she could react, Tobirama had already vanished. Only a blue afterimage remained. That's too fast. The speed of that thrust is impossible to keep up with the eyes, it requires pure instinct. Tsunade felt a chill run down her spine, her body reacted before her brain could process it, and she abruptly dodged to the side. Sizzle. The sound of clothes tearing. The bolt of lightning grazed her side, and although it didn't touch her flesh, the astonishing heat tore a hole in her combat suit. TCH, did you dodge it? Tobirama touched the ground with his toes, forcefully twisted his waist in midair, and used the momentum to spin and kick Tsunade towards the back of the head. Kid, don't be so arrogant. Tsunade roared, unleashing a burst of chakra, and spun around to deliver a chop to the neck. Bang! They clashed fists and feet. Tobirama felt as if his leg bone had hit a steel plate, his entire leg went numb instantly. But he used the force against him, his body bouncing off like a spinning top, his hands forming a hand seal in midair once more. This set of movements is fluid and seamless, without any unnecessary or wasteful movements. Fire release, Great Dragon Fire Technique. It's not a powerful fireball, it's a much more advanced dragon fire. 3 enormous fire dragons roared out, blocking all of Tsunade's escape routes, and the intense heat instantly carbonized the grass on the ground. Tsunade had no way to avoid it this time. This level of ninjutsu, do you think your chakra is free? Tsunade cursed and clasped her hands together abruptly. She didn't use ninjutsu to counter it. She is Tsunade, and her fighting style can be summed up in one word: aggressive. Open it for me. With a roar, a light blue chakra cloak instantly covered her entire body, and she actually charged out despite being surrounded by 3 fire dragons. The chakra condensed on his fist was so concentrated that it even emitted a white light. One force can overcome all laws. Rumble. The fire dragon was shattered by this punch, and sparks flew everywhere, like a meteor shower. But after the fire, was anyone gone? Alarm bells rang in Tsunade's mind. Above, she suddenly looked up. Tobirama hung upside down from a tree branch, his 3 Tomoe Sharingan spinning wildly, kunai and explosive tags raining down from his hands as if they were free. It's not over yet, Tsunade-sensei. Boom 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 boom. A series of explosions. Smoke billowed and gravel flew everywhere. The entire training ground looked like it had been plowed through, it was riddled with craters. This is hardly a master-disciple sparring session. This is clearly a battlefield where life and death are truly at stake. Amidst the smoke and dust, Tsunade emerged looking somewhat disheveled, her face covered in soot, and a few strands of her once flowing golden hair were singed. But the fighting spirit in her eyes grew stronger, even carrying a hint of excitement. Great, excellent. Tobirama Uchiha, you've given me a wonderful surprise. The two clashed again. It hit the ground, then the trees, and then the water. With the help of his Sharingan's predictive abilities and his lightning release, body flicker technique, Tobirama, like a slippery eel, always managed to dodge Tsunade's powerful punches just before they hit him. Tsunade, on the other hand, is like a humanoid Gundam. Nothing grows in her wake, and if you are even slightly grazed by her, your bones will break and your tendons will snap. 10 minutes passed. 20 minutes have passed. The pace of their fight didn't slow down, instead, it accelerated. Tobirama was panting heavily, sweat dripping down his chin. Cool. That's F**********G awesome. Is this what it feels like to fight a Kage-level powerhouse? Although Tsunade hasn't reached her peak yet, she's definitely among the top ninjas in the world. Self-assessment, my taijutsu, ninjutsu, and reaction speed have all reached the threshold for elite jonin. Weaknesses, chakra reserves and stamina. Tobirama had a better understanding of the situation. If we disregard the system's trump cards, based solely on raw strength, I could probably hold my own against Tsunade for about half an hour. If we fight desperately, we could probably seriously injure him? That's enough. At this moment, on a distant tree branch, the 2 unfortunate souls who had been unconscious, Tanaka Jiro and Suzuki AI, finally woke up. The moment I opened my eyes, I saw a loud boom in front of me. A tree so large that it would take 3 people to encircle it was uprooted and crashed down onto the figure in midair. Then the figure swung a lightning slicing attack, splitting the tree in 2. Am I still not awake? Tanaka Jiro rubbed his eyes, his mouth agape, his jaw almost dislocated. That's Tobirama Uchiha? Suzuki AI trembled with fear. Was that her classmate? It was clearly a monster. Is this still the same cool guy who always keeps a cold face and doesn't say a word? This fighting power is probably even stronger than that of their clan leader. Is this really a newly graduated genin? Are we really in the same class? The two looked at each other and saw despair and awe in each other's eyes. The gap is too big. So much so that I can't even feel jealousy. On the field, Tobirama felt that most of his chakra had been used up. Too much of a good thing is bad. I've already shown enough muscle today. If I keep fighting, and Tsunade really gets angry and unleashes the 100 healings technique, I'll be in a real mess. We need to give our superiors a way out. Thinking of this, Tobirama's eyes flashed. As he dodged Tsunade's next heavy punch, his footwork faltered almost imperceptibly. It was like a momentary mistake caused by physical exhaustion. In a battle between masters, this is the fatal flaw. Who is Tsunade? A battle-hardened Valkyrie. She instantly seized the opportunity. Got you. Tsunade instantly closed in, not using her superhuman strength punch, but instead turning her fist into a palm, stopping a centimeter in front of Tobirama's nose. The powerful gust of wind from the punch stung Tobirama's cheeks, and even messed up his bangs. The world seemed to stand still at that moment. Tobirama slowly exhaled a breath of stale air, and the 3 Tomoe Sharingan faded, returning to its original black pupils. He raised his hands, a signature harmless smile on his face. Tsunade-sensei is amazing. I've run out of chakra. I've lost. Please guide me in the future. Tsunade withdrew her hand, her chest heaving violently. She gave Tobirama a long, hard look. There was shock, doubt, and admiration in his eyes. That flaw just now, was that kid doing it on purpose? To save face for her as a teacher? At the age of 12, he possesses the strength of an elite jonin, and also has the worldly wisdom of a seasoned veteran. The Uchiha clan has produced a prodigy. Snort. Quote. Tsunade gave a haughty snort and casually tidied her messy hair. You're smart to know what's good for you. However, you still need to work on your physical skills. Your movements were too unnecessary during your third dodge. She forced herself to find a way out. Then he turned to look at his two teammates who were huddled up like quails in the distance. Hey, you two watching the show over there, if you're not dead, get over here. Tanaka Jiro and Suzuki AI were so frightened that they scrambled over and stood ramrod straight, not daring to breathe. Tsunade glanced at the three of them, her gaze finally settling on Tobirama, her tone softening slightly. Disband today. Meet here again at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. The fighting at the front is intense, there's no time for you to rest. Starting tomorrow, we'll be carrying out a level B mission. After saying that, Tsunade didn't waste any more words and disappeared instantly using the body flicker technique. She had to hurry and find the old man. Having a genius of this caliber on her team would mean the entire previous training plan would have to be scrapped and started from scratch. Ding! Congratulations, host, you have completed the achievement, going toe-to-toe with Tsunade. Rewards being processed. Reward, mastery of all sword techniques from the Naruto series, including Konoha style, Kumogakuha style, and Samurai style. Reward, Tsunade at her peak strength during the 4th Shinobi World War, 100% fusion rate, your chakra reserves, strength, and recovery will reach peak Tsunade levels. New feature unlocked, Naruto Duel Arena. As soon as Tobirama stepped out of the training ground, the system's notification sounded like heavenly music. Holy crap, what is Tsunade's strength during the ninja war? That's the power to shatter Susanoo and kick half of Madara's body in one go. An immense and terrifying surge of chakra instantly flooded his body, filling his previously parched meridians and even causing a feeling of swelling. Tobirama felt that he could shatter the Hokage rock with a single punch. And that swordsmanship proficiency, combined with the Sharingan, he's practically a close-quarters meat grinder. As for that, Naruto Duel Arena. Tobirama glanced at the panel. Naruto Arena, players can participate in one simulated battle in the Naruto mobile games arena daily. Opponents are randomly matched, and victories grant random rewards. Nice one. This is equivalent to having a free chance to win a prize every day. Tobirama was in a great mood and hummed a little tune as he walked back. The two teammates were showering him with compliments. Tobirama, you're amazing. From now on, you're our boss. Tobirama gave a few perfunctory words and sent the two sycophants away. They had just arrived at the entrance to the Uchiha clan's territory. A Uchiha clansman wearing a police uniform stopped him. Tobirama. The man's face was expressionless, and his tone was cold and hard. The Grand Elder is looking for you. Tobirama's smile faded slightly. Grand Elder? Uchiha Setsuna? That old radical? New. Quote. Tobirama nodded, put his hands in his pockets, and walked deeper into the clan's territory. The streets were lined with the Uchiha clan's fan-shaped crests. The tribesmen held their heads high, their faces filled with arrogance, as if they were the best in the world, and their eyes were sharp as they looked at outsiders. Tobirama sighed inwardly. Arrogance is an obstacle to survival. This tribe is not far from the night of their extermination, they only have a few years left, yet they're still here feeling good about themselves. The Grand Elder's residence was dark and somber. A musty, stale scent of incense wafted through the air. The Grand Elder sat in the main seat, his hair and beard all white. Although his aged eyes were cloudy, they revealed a sinister light. Tobirama's here. The elder put down his teacup, a faint smile appearing on his face. Sit. Quote. Tobirama sat down as instructed, his back straight, neither humble nor arrogant. Did the Grand Elder want to see me about something? The Grand Elder didn't answer directly, but instead slowly offered a compliment. I heard you graduated, and you were number 1. Not bad, you didn't disgrace the Uchiha clan. I heard you even unlocked the 3 Tomoe stage while you were at school. You're really well informed. Tobirama sneered inwardly, but feigned respect, just lucky. Luck is also a form of ability. The elder's cloudy eyes stared at him. How are the class assignments going? The Jonin instructor is Tsunade. Upon hearing the name, Tsunade, the first elder paused in his tea-serving hand. The teacup lid tapped against the rim of the cup, making a crisp, ding, sound. It sounded particularly jarring in the quiet room. That woman from the Senju family. The elder narrowed his eyes, his tone becoming meaningful. Tobirama, what are your thoughts on your clan? They've arrived. A question that could cost you your life. Tobirama remained composed, his reply perfectly flawless. My clan raised me, and I am proud to be a member of the Uchiha clan. Standard answer. The Grand Elder nodded, seemingly satisfied, but then immediately threw out the real bait. The Senju clan has always targeted us. That Tsunade probably won't genuinely teach you. If you're willing, the clan can help you apply to the Hokage to change your instructor to a different jonin. Whether it's joining the security force or finding an elite jonin from the clan to mentor you, it's better than following that woman. Moreover, with your talent, if you directly join the security force, the position of vice captain will be yours within 3 years. This is both an attempt to win them over and a test. Want to side with the radicals and completely sever ties with the village? Tobirama understood perfectly. If we agree now, we'll be stuck on this broken Uchiha ship and sink with it. But he couldn't refuse outright, otherwise that old man might make things difficult for him. Thank you for your kindness, Elder. Tobirama bowed slightly, his tone sincere. However, Tsunade is, after all, one of the legendary Sannin and a renowned medical expert. I want to learn something from her first, to understand her better, so I can better serve the clan in the future. As for the security forces. Tobirama paused, then raised his head, his eyes resolute. Once I become a Chunin, I will apply to join the army immediately. I hope the Elder will give me the opportunity to advance my career. These words both expressed loyalty and provided a reason for politely declining. It's so slippery it's impossible to catch. The Elder stared at Tobirama for a full 3 seconds. That gaze seemed to see right through his soul. The air in the room seemed to freeze. A long time. The Elder's lips twitched slightly, a half-smile playing on his lips. Good. Quote. It's a good thing that young people have ideas. Then you can stay with Tsunade for now. But remember, your surname is Uchiha. No matter where you go, your roots are here. Go ahead. Tobirama bowed, then turned and left. He didn't realize the gaze behind him had disappeared until he stepped out the door. Indoors. As the Elder watched Tobirama's departing figure, his kind smile vanished instantly, replaced by a gloomy expression. Such a young age, yet so deep in thought. He doesn't seem like a 12-year-old child, he's more like a cunning old fox who's been navigating the treacherous waters of officialdom. HMPH. I hope you're not an ungrateful wretch, otherwise. The teacup instantly turned to dust in his hand. Episode 3 Duel Arena Red Temperature, this peak 100 battles Itachi is a 3000. When I got home, I locked the door and drew the curtains. The movements were fluid and graceful. Tobirama threw himself onto the sofa and let out a comfortable sigh. System, open the panel. A pale blue light curtain unfolded before my eyes. Host, Uchiha Tobirama. Chakra level, Kage level, with Tsunade's blessing. Physical skills, Kage level, superhuman strength fist, 100 healings technique. Ninjutsu, Kage level, mastery of all attributes plus fire and lightning specialization. Bloodline limit, 3 Tomoe Sharingan. Overall assessment, although you are only 12 years old, you already stand at the pinnacle of this world. This era belongs to you. Your name is Uchiha Tobirama. Movie level. Tobirama looked at those 2 words, and the corners of his mouth were harder to suppress than an AK. Is that all it takes to be invincible? Of course not. The ninja world is a very complex place. 6 paths Madara and Kaguya are still in the queue. But during World War II, as long as you didn't do something reckless and take on the 5 major powers single-handedly, you could basically do whatever you wanted. Next, let me see what this dueling arena is all about. With a thought, Tobirama's consciousness instantly sank into the system space. The scene before me suddenly changed. The enormous Roman Colosseum, surrounded by roaring cheers, had a wide arena in the center. The interface is somewhat similar to the Naruto mobile game I played in my previous life, but not exactly the same. Rules: 1 challenge attempt per day. Mode: 1v1 duel. Configuration: can carry 2 summoned beasts and 1 scroll. Tobirama glanced at the list of summoning beasts. Good heavens, they're all grey. Unlock summoning beasts. New player bonus, first recharge of 6 RMB. Cough, first time you open the game, you'll receive full unlock access to all summons. Brother Tong is so generous. This is incredibly generous. You only need a 6 RMB first time recharge to unlock all the summons. That's a million times better than the way the game is run by Cube. Without saying a word, Tobirama lit up all of them. Pandas, crows, giant snakes, ape demons, take 'em all down. Secret scroll? Choose invincibility directly. A real man stands his ground, he doesn't play games with fancy tricks. Match. Tobirama was itching for a fight. In his past life, he was a top player with a score of 2,900 in the Super Shadow rank. Although he hadn't touched a game for 12 years after transmigrating, his skills, ingrained in his DNA, were still there. Beating a couple of AI opponents is a piece of cake, isn't it? Match successful. Opponent, Uchiha Itachi, 100 battles. A flash of light. Standing opposite was a boy wearing a rogue ninja headband, covered in wounds, and with tattered clothes. Tobirama was amused. Hey, isn't this 1 against 7? Today, let the senior teach you how to be a person. Tobirama immediately chose his most skilled ninja, Sasuke, Hawk. Countdown is over. Battle begins. Tobirama started with a Chidori blade, aiming to gain the upper hand and suppress the opponent. As a result, the opposing Itachi used Susanoo to start a full axis attack that hit Tobirama. Tobirama was blasted into the air. Then, the nightmare began. That Itachi just mindlessly attacks Susanoo, then uses his first skill to substitute, and after the substitution, he immediately uses summoning, Amaterasu to chase him down, and even if is dragged away by his super armor, he just mindlessly starts with Susanoo, and then counters with Susanoo. Finally, we'll go straight for a large-scale purification. That combo was incredibly smooth. Tobirama tried everything he could, but it was all for naught. Holy crap, what kind of purity is this? Infinite power? This peak level 100 battle Itachi is human? He's incredibly cunning. Tobirama watched helplessly as his health bar plummeted like water. That Itachi has absolutely no sense of martial ethics. He uses basic attacks to connect during skill cooldowns, keeping the rhythm perfectly in place, leaving no room for error. Yes, quote, the word, failure, was slapped across my face. Tobirama sat on the sofa, his face flushed red, and his blood pressure spiked instantly. It's red hot. It's completely red hot. Is this a human-machine interface? Oh no, kids, this 100 battle weasel is a 3000. I'm a 2900 point shadow master, and I can't even fight back? Is this river? Tobirama was so angry he wanted to smash the cup. That 100 battle Itachi isn't just an ordinary ANBU level bot, it's a pure mad dog. That's a mad dog whose fighting instinct is etched into its very bones. No, I can't swallow this. Again, Tobirama gritted his teeth. Didn't you say once a day? System, do you have any bonus cards? Ding, first loss compensation, an extra challenge attempt is awarded. You're smart to know what's good for you. Tobirama took a deep breath, his eyes turning fierce. Since you're playing the purity game with me, don't blame me. Select the right person. Remove the spots. Match again. It's still the same battle-hardened Itachi. You little b******************, D, try and get one more this time. The opening. Itachi started with Susanoo as usual. Tobirama completely ignored him and dodged. Wait for the opponent's first skill to come, then unleash a burst of fire. I'll use my substitute to chase after the wood dragon with its super armor. It doesn't matter if I get attacked first, I'll just use a Susanoo that gets hit, then I'll unleash my ultimate attack. The screen was filled with a barrage of explosions. This is the power of the Dark Guard Emperor. Yes, quote, finally, that annoying itch is down. Tobirama let out a long sigh of relief, feeling refreshed and invigorated. Phew, that feels good. To fight the underworld, you have to use even more ruthless underworld methods. Ding, congratulations, host, for defeating the formidable 100 battle Itachi. Reward, 100 battles Itachi costume, transforms into a healthy Itachi power card, allowing the user to unleash Itachi's strongest power without any health concerns. Wearing this costume grants the wearer permanent immunity to injuries, toxins, and other health threats, and removes the side effects of bloodline diseases and Mangekyo Sharingan blindness. Upon seeing this text, Tobirama was stunned for a full 3 seconds. Then he suddenly jumped up from the sofa. Holy crap, a healthy weasel? Or an infinite chakra, a healthy weasel that doesn't go blind? You're invincible, system. This healthy weasel could eat 10 chakra fruits if it weren't for my cunning. What the hell does that mean? Why did Itachi always hold back in the original story? Why did he die so young? Because Lan Shao is blind, physically weak, and suffers from an incurable bloodline disease. Even so, he was able to seal Orochimaru and deal with Sasuke perfectly. Now, if there were a fully healed Itachi, not coughing up blood, with eyes that could be used freely, or even an enhanced version. That's the #1 person below the 6 parts of reincarnation. Susanoo can be activated at will. Use Amaterasu to light your cigarette. I'll use Tsukuyomi as a bedtime story. Merge immediately. Boom. A chilling yet powerful pupil energy instantly surged into his eyes. Tobirama felt his eyeballs trembling, and his vision changed again. The original 3 Tomoe spun wildly, eventually connecting together to form the classic Shuriken pattern. Kaleidoscope Sharingan. And it's a kaleidoscope that won't make you blind. At the same time, countless battle memories flooded his mind. That was Itachi's skill in killing people without hesitation in the Anbu, and his experience in walking the line between life and death within the Akatsuki organization. Tobirama clenched his fist. At this moment, he had only one feeling. I want to fight 10 of them. From now on, anyone who dares to raise their voice at me will be sent to a Learn How to Be a Person course for a month. What Danzo? What Daimyo? What Shinobi World War? I'm never eating beef again. Hokage building, Hokage's office. The air was thick with smoke, making it difficult to open one's eyes. The third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, sat behind his desk, puffing on his pipe, his brow furrowed. The table was piled high with battle reports from the front lines. The battlefield in the Land of Rain has reached a stalemate, the Hidden Sand Village is stirring, and the Hidden Stone Village is also reinforcing its troops on the border. Konoha, this is tough. Old man, stop looking so gloomy. Tsunade sat casually on the sofa, legs crossed, completely unconcerned about her image. I have some good news to share with you. That Tobirama Uchiha from today is a promising talent. No, Tsunade paused, then corrected, it's a monster. Hiruzen Sarutobi exhaled a smoke ring, his eyes flickering. Oh, for you to call him a monster, this child must be quite something. Please explain in detail. Tsunade gave a brief account of what happened at the training ground today. Of course, the details of his somewhat disheveled defeat were omitted, and the focus was only on Tobirama's 3 Tomoe, his self-created lightning release technique, and his terrifying battle intelligence. To have this kind of ability right after graduation. A glint of light flashed in Hiruzen Sarutobi's cloudy eyes. Tsunade, what do you think? Is this child the same as those Uchiha? This is a very sensitive issue. The Uchiha clan is a double-edged sword for Konoha. Used well, it's a powerful weapon. Used poorly, it's a ticking time bomb. Especially now, although the relationship between the Uchiha clan and the village has not broken down, a rift has already formed. Tsunade remained silent for a few seconds, the image of Tobirama's final, deliberate smile as he deliberately created an opening flashed through her mind. And when he faced his 2 civilian teammates, although he showed disdain, he didn't truly look down on them. No, the same. Quote. Tsunade shook her head, her tone certain. He didn't have that disgusting arrogance of the Uchiha clan. Although arrogant, his arrogance is outwardly apparent, he is actually quite perceptive. I even saw in him the shadow of Uchiha Kagami, whom my second grandfather had mentioned. Uchiha Kagami. Upon hearing this name, Hiruzen Sarutobi's eyes softened. That was his former comrade in arms, and the only Uchiha who truly inherited the will of fire. If this child is like a mirror, that would be a blessing for Konoha. Hiruzen Sarutobi quickly calculated in his mind. Now is the time when we need people. If we don't win over such a genius quickly, it would be troublesome if he were brainwashed by the radical elders of the Uchiha clan. He might even become the second Madara Uchiha. We must instill the will of fire into his mind while he's still young and his worldview is still formed. Okay, I understand. Hiruzen Sarutobi tapped his pipe and made his decision. Tsunade, please take good care of this child. Since he's a genius, he can't be taught using conventional methods. I don't expect him to completely sever ties with the Uchiha clan, but at the very least, he should still have the village in his heart. You go tomorrow. No, go in a little while, and give this to him. Hiruzen Sarutobi took a scroll out of the drawer and handed it to Tsunade. Tsunade took it and glanced at it, raising an eyebrow. Wind release, vacuum ball. This is an A-rank ninjutsu developed by the second Hokage, and it's also one of Danzo's signature techniques. Old man, you've really gone all out this time. You can't catch a wolf without risking your cub. Hiruzen Sarutobi smiled, like a kind old neighbor. Tell him this is the village's reward for a genius. Okay, leave it to me. Tsunade put away the scroll, got up, and left. As long as it doesn't involve her in political struggles, she's quite willing to mentor apprentices. Especially when it comes to taking on interesting apprentices like this. Tsunade had just left. From the shadows in the corner of the office, a figure leaning on a cane slowly emerged. Half his face was wrapped in bandages, and his single eye was sinister. Shimura Danzo. Hiruzen, you're too naive. Danzo's voice was hoarse, like fingernails scratching a blackboard. The Uchiha are the Uchiha, they are a clan-born evil. Giving them power is like raising a tiger to cause future trouble. This Tobirama Uchiha must be dealt with by root. Only in the darkness can he be honed into the sharpest knife. Hiruzen Sarutobi didn't turn around, he simply looked out the window at the Hokage rock, his tone calm yet undeniably authoritative. Danzo, I am the Hokage. As long as the leaves are still falling, I will not give up on any single leaf. Even if he is an Uchiha. Danzo snorted coldly, offering no rebuttal, but the chill in his eyes deepened. You'll regret this, Hiruzen. One day, you'll understand that only I am right. Episode 4, The Mission, The Rain Ninja's Ambush. The next day, early morning. Tobirama Uchiha arrived right on time. The 2 teammates who were knocked unconscious yesterday, Tanaka Jiro and Suzuki AI, had already arrived. They were carrying backpacks almost as big as themselves, and their legs were shaking with nervousness. This is a ninja war. Let's go to that rain country, which is said to be rainy every day and full of dead people. Have they all arrived? Tsunade's voice came from above. She leaped from the top of the gate, landing silently. Today she changed into a light mesh combat uniform, which made her look much more capable, but her chest was still so impressive that it was hard to look away. Besides Class 7, there are 2 other teams. 6 genin and 2 jonin leading the teams. There were 12 people in total. This mission is Class B. We need to assist in transporting a shipment of explosive tags and medical supplies to the frontline camp. Tsunade glanced around, her gaze lingering on Tobirama for a moment, then waved her hand dismissively. Enough with the chit-chat, let's go. Once you step outside the gates of Konoha, you'll find yourself in a dense forest. In order to save time, everyone used their chakra to travel, leaping and weaving among the tree branches. Tsunade deliberately slowed down to accommodate the rookie genin. Tobirama, on the other hand, was completely at ease, following half a body length behind Tsunade without even disturbing his breathing. Next, Tsunade suddenly flicked her wrist, and a scroll flew towards Tobirama. Tobirama raised his hand to catch it. Upon opening it, I found a wind-release vacuum jewel. This is from the old man. Tsunade didn't turn her head, her voice drifted over on the wind. They said it was a reward for graduating first in your class. This is an A-rank ninjutsu developed by the Second Hokage. Tobirama toyed with the scroll in his hand, a playful smile playing on his lips. The old monkey is pretty quick. Are they starting to bait the container now? He's giving favors and high-level ninjutsu. He's afraid of being led astray by those Uchiha lunatics. However, it's like a sugar-coated bullet. You eat the sugar coating, but you fire the bullet back. Please thank the Hokage for me. Tobirama stuffed the scroll into his ninja tool pouch, then hurried a couple of steps to stand beside Tsunade. Tsunade-sensei, there's something I want to ask you. Speak, Tsunade said succinctly. I want to learn medical ninjutsu. Tsunade, who was running at full speed, suddenly stopped and almost lost her footing. She stopped on the tree trunk, turned around, and looked at Tobirama with a look of utter disbelief. You studied medical ninjutsu? You're an Uchiha, a born battle maniac. Why not learn proper ninjutsu and genjutsu instead of medical ninjutsu? In her mind, the Uchiha clan wanted to put all their skill points into offensive skills. Asking them to heal was harder than asking pigs to fly. Tobirama, however, dropped his playful grin and his eyes became unusually serious. Even a battle maniac needs to stay alive to deal damage. He glanced at Tanaka and Suzuki, who were catching up behind him, panting heavily. Furthermore, teacher, you are the strongest medical ninja in the ninja world. As your disciple, if I can't even perform medical ninjutsu, it would be such a disgrace to you. Besides, Tobirama paused, his voice lowering slightly. Swords have no eyes on the battlefield. If you get injured, or if those 2 idiot teammates are about to die, I can lend a hand, so I don't just stand by and watch. The wind rustled through the trees. Tsunade looked at the 12-year-old boy in front of her. Those black eyes lacked the arrogance and cold-bloodedness typical of the Uchiha clan. Instead, they held a tenderness that touched her heart. That kid, did you put honey on your lips? Tsunade felt a soft spot in her heart being touched. She remembered her younger brother, Nawaki, who also had a silly look on his face and said he wanted to protect his older sister. Snort. Quote. Tsunade turned her head away, concealing a flicker of emotion in her eyes. Medical ninjutsu is far more difficult than killing. It requires extremely precise chakra control. If you can't learn it, don't blame me for hitting you. Tobirama laughed, revealing a set of bright white teeth. Don't worry, I'm thick-skinned and can take a beating. Alright, let's get going. I'll teach you how to use the chakra scalpel once we reach the camp. Tsunade couldn't help but smile slightly. This apprentice seems to have been accepted quite well. 2 days later, the surrounding scenery has changed. The dense forest had turned into a barren, yellow muddy ground. The air was damp, and the sky seemed to have a hole punched in it, with continuous rain. We've arrived in the land of rain. The rain pattered against the straw hat, making a constant, annoying sound. The newly graduated genin had long lost the excitement they had when they first left the village. They were all dejected, trudging through the muddy water. Be alert! Tsunade suddenly roared. Her words hadn't even finished. The surrounding mud and water suddenly exploded. Water release, chaotic waves. More than a dozen high-pressure water jets shot in from all directions, like a dozen giant white pythons, instantly tearing through the rain curtain. Enemy attack. The other 2 jonin leading the team reacted quickly, immediately forming hand seals to defend themselves. Earth flow wall. Boom. The earthen wall rose, blocking the first wave of attacks. But then, more than 30 ninjas wearing breathing masks emerged from the mud. The assassination squad of Amigakure. You scum from Konoha, leave the supplies behind, and you can die a quick death. The leader, a rain ninja jonin, smiled sinisterly, the scythe in his hand gleaming coldly. Is this what a battlefield is? Tanaka Jiro was so frightened that his legs went weak, and he could barely hold the kunai in his hand. Mum, I want to go home. Suzuki Ai burst into tears. Shut up, stand back to back if you don't want to die. Tsunade roared and charged out. Heavenly Guard kick. Boom. The earth cracked open, forcing the Rain Ninja leader to retreat repeatedly. But there were too many of them. There were more than 30 elites, including 3 Jonin, and the rest were all Chunin and senior Genin. Tsunade and the other 2 Konoha Jonin were instantly entangled by 5 skilled fighters and had no way to deal with these rookies. The remaining 20-odd Rain Ninja pounced on the 6 Genin like a pack of wolves. This is a massacre. Quote. A piercing scream. A Genin from the next squad was about to throw a shuriken when a Rain Ninja instantly closed in on him. A flash of light. That still childish head flew up. Blood gushed out, splattering all over Tanaka Jiro's face. Hot. It tastes fishy. Tanaka Jiro was dumbfounded. He blankly wiped the blood from his face, watching the headless corpse slowly fall to the ground. 1 second my companion was complaining about the heavy rain, the next second he was cut in two. Help, help me. Another Genin had his stomach pierced by a kunai, and collapsed in the mud, convulsing, his intestines spilling out onto the ground. Despair. An endless despair enveloped these hothouse flowers. The sparring routines they learned at school were as laughable as a baby's dance in front of this group of ruthless Rain Ninja. So this is the new generation of Konoha? They're pretty weak. A Rain Ninja licked the blood from the blade, looking at Tobirama Uchiha with a mocking gaze. Kid, you look like a pretty boy. Watch me chop off your head and have it as a snack with my drinks. He flashed forward, activating the body flicker technique, and his katana aimed straight for Tobirama's throat. Quick, accurate, and ruthless. They completely disregarded this 12-year-old brat. Tobirama stood still, without moving. Rain dripped down his hair. His pupils reflected the approaching blade and the horrific scene of his comrades being slaughtered. This is war. There are no referees, no stopping short of a fight, only life or death. The passion I saw on screen in my past life has turned into a nauseating stench of blood here. But he wasn't disgusted. On the contrary, he felt his blood boiling. It was a thirst for killing that originated deep within the Uchiha bloodline. He is now at the pinnacle of the entire ninja world. There are very few people in the ninja world who can defeat him. Moreover, this war was originally intended to bring great military achievements and prestige. As for exposing their strength, they were afraid of being feared and targeted by F4. Sorry, all schemes and tricks are a joke in the face of strength. In this world where might makes right, strength alone can crush everything. Snacks to go with drinks? Tobirama suddenly looked up. Those black eyes instantly turned into scarlet 3 Tomoe eyes. Although it was only for a moment, that fleeting, terrifying gaze caused the charging Rain Ninja's heart to skip a beat. What? Before Ren could react, Tobirama made a move. No one even saw how he drew his sword. A crisp clang was heard. The Rain Ninja, still in a sprinting stance, swept past Tobirama. Then, his upper and lower body separated. Blood gushed out like a fountain, soaking Tobirama in a bloody mess. The first one. Tobirama's voice was soft, masked by the rain, yet it was chilling, as if it came from hell. He flicked the blood off his katana and a bright smile spread across his face. That was the smile of an evil spirit. Stop spacing out, everyone. He turned his head and roared at the few Konoha Genin who were already stunned with fear. If you don't want to die, hide behind me. Next, Tobirama slowly turned around, facing the 20-odd Rain Ninja who looked like wolves and tigers. His aura changed. He was no longer that timid and hesitant genius who hid his true strength. It was not a demonic sword, but a newly unsheathed blade. Now that he's in this meat grinder-like battlefield, there's no need to pretend to be a good boy anymore. Besides, he doesn't need to use pretense to protect himself anymore. Our current strength is enough to thwart all conspiracies and schemes. Killing one is killing 100 is still killing. Since you guys want to risk your lives, then I'll play along with you on a big scale. You killed Yamashita? The other Rain Ninjas were stunned for a moment, then flew into a rage. Kill him, all of you, attack. 7 or 8 Rain Ninja rushed over at the same time, unleashing a barrage of shuriken, kunai, and water-style ninjutsu. Tobirama took a deep breath, and the chakra within him surged forth like a flood. The healthy weasel's combat experience was instantly activated in his mind. Since you're courting death, then let me show you what the power of the Uchiha is all about. Fire release, Phoenix Flower Claw Red. Tobirama didn't move his hands at all, but he spat out more than a dozen balls of flame wrapped around shuriken in one breath. Immediately afterwards, the figure disappeared from the spot. When they reappeared, they were behind a Rain Ninja. Too slow. Peeved. The kunai pierced his heart with precision, stirred, and was then pulled out. Her movements were as graceful as if she were dancing. At this moment, the roles of hunter and prey are completely reversed. Who is the hunter and who is the prey? The difference is immediately apparent. Episode 5 Arrival at the front lines, Hanzo's surprise attack. The rain is still falling. But no one had time to wipe the rain off their faces. Because what was denser than the rain was the glint of swords in Tobirama Uchiha's hand. Brush. Quote. A cold, sharp glint pierced the rain. Tobirama. The two Chunin were still forming hand seals, preparing to unleash the water dragon bullet. Suddenly I felt a chill on my neck. My vision started to spin. Only when they saw their headless, still bleeding bodies did they realize, oh, I'm dead. The fifth, the sixth. Tobirama flicked his long sword, and blood splattered onto the ground, leaving a red trail. He didn't even activate his Sharingan to observe, he relied entirely on the fighting instincts of that healthy Itachi body. A slight breeze was heard on the left. Sneak attack? Without even turning his head, Tobirama threw out 3 shuriken. Ding ding ding. The kunai shot from the darkness was accurately shot down. That's not all. The 3 shuriken collided with each other, strangely changing their flight trajectory, bypassing cover, and piercing directly into the attacker's eye socket and throat. Quote. The screams had barely begun when they abruptly stopped. The 7th one. Tobirama was strolling through his own backyard. With every step he took, a rain shinobi fell down. That's incredible. This is not a battle between genin at all. This is basically a max-level character going back to the newbie village and slaughtering everyone. The group of rain ninjas who had been as fierce as a pack of wolves around them now had a changed look in their eyes. Fear. A fear that seeps into your very bones. They looked at the 12-year-old boy as if he were a monster in human skin. What kind of swordsmanship is this? Don't let him get close. Create distance. Use water release to blast him to death. The remaining 20-odd rain ninja finally reacted, and without even bothering to attack the others, they all unleashed their ninjutsu at Tobirama. A deluge of water bombs, water jets, and poison needles descended, covering the area completely. Trying to focus fire on me? Tobirama's lips curled into a mocking smile. He clasped his hands together, without even needing to form the complicated mudra. Because his control over chakra was already incredibly profound. Lightning release, Chidori stream. Sizzle. A terrifying blue electric current erupted instantly from him, covering an area of 20 meters in radius. Those water-style ninjutsu that flew in became perfect conductors the moment they came into contact with the lightning. The screams of agony blended together. Water can conduct electricity. These rain ninja are using water release to fight lightning release ninjas in the rain. They're practically asking for trouble. A dozen or so rain ninjas were instantly electrocuted, their bodies charred black, foaming at the mouth, convulsing as they collapsed into the muddy water. The remaining few, before they could even run, were killed by a blue afterimage. The 2 Konoha jonin, who had been beaten to the point of questioning their existence, now had their mouths agape, wide enough to fit a watermelon. This is Lady Tsunade's apprentice? One person, surrounded 30 people? This is absolutely outrageous. On the other side, the Rain village leader, who was locked in combat with Tsunade, caught a glimpse of this scene out of the corner of his eye, and his heart nearly stopped. Those were his elite troops. It disappeared in the blink of an eye? Is that brat a devil? Damn it, kill that brat first. The 2 jonin immediately abandoned their opponent, even risking injury to take a blow from a Konoha jonin, using the force to propel themselves forward and charge straight at Tobirama. You brat, prepare to die. The 2 jonin unleashed their full power, their scythes coated with deadly poison, sealing off all of Tobirama's escape routes. This is the jonin's ultimate killing blow. Extremely fast. Tanaka Jiro and Suzuki AI, watching from a distance, screamed in fright, Tobirama. Watch out. Tobirama stood still, watching the 2 figures rush towards him, his sword slightly raised. He had no intention of hiding. Because someone was angrier than him. You dare touch my people right in front of me? You bunch of scum, are you pretending I don't exist? A furious roar shook the ground, causing the rain to flow backwards. A green figure instantly appeared above the heads of the 2 rain ninja jonin. Tsunade was furious, her hair standing on end, and the veins on her forehead bulging, a sign that she was truly intent on killing. Die. She didn't use ninjutsu. It was a simple, brutal, and unreasonable kick. Painful heavenly kick. Boom. The earth trembled violently, as if it had been struck by a meteorite. The ground within a 50-meter radius collapsed instantly, sending mud, water, and rubble soaring into the sky. The 2 menacing rain ninja jonin didn't even have time to scream. Their internal organs were shattered midair by the terrifying shockwave, and they were trampled into the mud like 2 rag dolls. It turned into 2 unrecognizable puddles of minced meat. Sold out instantly. This is the true value of Tsunade. The last rain ninja leader was dumbfounded. My calves are cramping. On one side is a small monster who kills people like cutting vegetables, and on the other side is a female Tyrannosaurus who can crush the earth with a single stomp. How do we fight this battle? Run, run. He turned around and tried to slip away. Trying to run away? Tobirama and Tsunade both sneered. Shuriken Shadow Clone Technique. Superhuman strength punch. A barrage of shuriken blocked the way ahead, while terrifying gusts of wind from punches shattered the path behind. In despair, the leader of the Rain Ninja was blasted into dust by the combined attack of the master and disciple. The rain is still falling. But the battle was over. The air was thick with the stench of blood, mixed with the earthy smell, making one want to vomit. More than 30 Rain Ninja assassins were wiped out. Class 7 was unharmed. Of course, this excludes Tanaka and Suzuki, who have more psychological trauma. Tsunade stood amidst the pile of corpses, shook the blood off her hands, and turned to look at Tobirama. Her eyes were filled with amazement. The fluid and skillful killing spree Tobirama displayed just now, his control over the battle, and even his ruthlessness. She didn't need to teach him at all. This kid was born for the battlefield. Well done. Tsunade walked over and patted Tobirama's shoulder hard, so hard that she almost shoved him into the ground. Quick reaction, ruthless, and decisive. He has the style I had back in the day. The two Konoha jonin who had narrowly escaped death also came over, their eyes filled with awe as they looked at Tobirama. The Uchiha truly lives up to their reputation. That lightning release technique just now was absolutely amazing. Thanks to you, otherwise we would all be dead here today. This is the ninja world. Strength is the only true currency. They who just treated Tobirama as a newcomer now regard him as an equal, or even stronger, comrade in arms, and there is a growing tendency to side with him and Tsunade. As for Tanaka Jiro and Suzuki AI, they now look at Tobirama as if he were a god. Those scenes have been etched into their minds forever. From now on, if anyone dares to speak ill of the Uchiha clan, these two will be the first to jump out and refute them. Tobirama sheathed his sword, the cold, murderous aura on his face vanished instantly, and he returned to being that sunny, cheerful young man. Just lucky. Tsunade-sensei's kicks were way cooler. I felt an earthquake coming from next to her. Tsunade was very pleased with this flattery, and a smile appeared on her face. Alright, stop joking. Clean up the mess and get out of here. The stench of blood here is too strong, it will attract more enemies. The rest of the journey went exceptionally smoothly. Perhaps the battle just now was too loud, or perhaps Tobirama and Tsunade's killing intent was too strong. Even the most clueless wandering ninjas along the way were scared away by this aura from afar. Half a day later, a long stretch of camps came into view. We've arrived at Konoha's frontline headquarters. Patrolling ninjas were everywhere, along with the cries of the wounded and the sound of sharpening knives. The atmosphere was so oppressive it was suffocating. I just entered the camp gate. Yo, isn't that Tsunade? A bold voice rang out. A tall man with white hair, carrying a huge scroll on his back, walked over laughing. Beside him followed a pale-faced, cold-looking man with golden vertical pupils. Jiraiya, Orochimaru. The current legendary Sannin of Konoha haven't yet earned that prestigious title, but they are already the backbone of Konoha. HMPH, Jiraiya, you haven't died from being in a harem yet, have you? Tsunade rolled her eyes in annoyance. Jiraiya didn't care at all, chuckled, and his gaze fell on Tobirama behind Tsunade. Is this the genius disciple the old man told you about? TSK, he's quite handsome, almost as good-looking as me. But with that small frame, can it take a beating? Jiraiya was just about to reach out and pinch Tobirama's cheek. Tobirama subtly took a step back, avoiding Jiraiya's malevolent hand. Jiraiya-senpai, Orochimaru-senpai. Tobirama greeted him politely, but his eyes were secretly observing the two powerful figures. Jiraiya appears carefree, but a wary glint lies deep within his eyes. Orochimaru. The snake was staring at him with the look of someone eyeing a lab rat, and its tongue unconsciously licked its lips. The Uchiha bloodline. Orochimaru's hoarse voice rang out, sending chills down everyone's spines. A very interesting look, filled with the scent of death. Tsunade frowned and silently stood in front of Tobirama. Orochimaru, stop looking at me like that. This is my disciple, don't even think about making a move on him. Orochimaru shrugged, neither confirming nor denying. Just as Jiraiya was about to make a joke. Sudden, wah, wah, wah. The piercing alarm instantly ripped apart the noise of the camp. That's the highest level enemy attack alert. What's going on? Jiraiya's smile vanished instantly. A blood-covered scout ninja rushed over and collapsed to the ground. Report. Rain Ninja, Hanzo. Hanzo the Salamander has led a large force in a surprise attack. They've already broken through the first line of defense. Our ninjas can't hold on any longer. Hanzo. Upon hearing this name, everyone present changed their expressions. That was the man known as a demigod, a monster standing at the pinnacle of the ninja world. Damn, they got here so fast. Tsunade gritted her teeth, turned around and roared at Tobirama. You three, stay in the back and don't wander off. After saying that, she, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru exchanged a glance, and instantly transformed into three afterimages, rushing towards the front line of the battlefield. The campsite instantly descended into chaos. Explosions and shouts of battle came from all directions. Tanaka Jiro and Suzuki Ai were so frightened that they huddled together, trembling. How come we run into Hanzo as soon as we arrived? Are we going to die? Tobirama stood amidst the chaotic crowd. He gazed at the distant flames soaring into the sky, sensing the restless chakra in the air. There was no fear. Excitement. That's the belligerent gene flowing in their blood cheering. A demigod. Tobirama gripped the hilt of his sword once more. You've come at the perfect time. I was just wondering how to quickly gain merit and become famous throughout the ninja world, and you've walked right into my life. Episode 6 Battle of the Rearguard Camp. The sirens and screams grew louder. The rain in the land of rain is now falling even harder. The entire Konoha camp was in complete chaos. The wounded were screaming in agony, the logistics ninjas were running frantically, and shouts of, "Retreat!" and "Hold on!" were heard everywhere. Tobirama Uchiha stood amidst the chaotic crowd, yet his gaze remained remarkably calm. The memories in my mind were churning rapidly. The Second Shinobi World War. Amigakure's leader, Hanzo of the Salamander, has grown ambitious and wants to carve out a path for Amigakure to become one of the 5 great ninja villages, caught between the 3 great nations. This guy is a real ruthless person. Whether it's the methods, the poison, or the summoning beast, the salamander, they are all at the peak of the Kage level. In the original story, it was during this battle that Konoha suffered heavy casualties, with only Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru surviving. They were bestowed the title of Sannin by Hanzo. That was a shameful survival, but also the beginning of fame. The battle that made the 3 legendary Sannin famous? Tobirama touched the hilt of his sword, a fanatical smile playing on his lips. In the original history, this was the stage for the 3 ninjas. But now, the master has arrived. Then I want to stand in the center position on this stage too. The first step to dominating the ninja world is to use that old D Hanzo as a stepping stone. In front of the command tent, Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Orochimaru all turned ashen-faced. The situation is worse than I imagined. Damn it, the main force has all been deployed to the west to fight the Iwa ninja head-on. Jiraiya was so anxious that he scratched his head and cheeks, his white hair almost standing on end. The camp is full of wounded and logistical personnel, with fewer than 200 combat troops. How can we possibly hold off Hanzo's main force? Orochimaru licked his lips coldly, his eyes flashing. It can't be stopped. The rational course of action is to abandon the wounded and retreat immediately with the elite troops. No, Tsunade slammed her fist against a pillar, sending splinters flying. Those are our comrades. How can we just throw them away like that? Then leave some men behind to cover the retreat and buy some time. Orochimaru's voice is cold-blooded, but also very realistic. The 3 fell silent. To cover the rear? Facing Hanzo's massive army, covering their retreat would be tantamount to suicide. I stayed. Quote, Tsunade took a deep breath, her eyes resolute. I am a medical ninja, and also a member of the Senju clan. It is my responsibility to protect them. I'm staying too. Jiraiya pounded his chest loudly. How could I, this great one, let a woman stand in my way? Orochimaru sighed helplessly. What foolish hot-bloodedness. Oh well, if you all die, I won't be able to face the old man. Just as the 3 decided to fight to the death, a boy's voice pierced through the rain, clearly breaking through the curtain of rain. Count me in. The 3 of them turned around abruptly. Uchiha Tobirama walked against the flow of retreating people, step by step. Bloodstains from the previous battle still clung to his body, and his dark eyes shone eerily brightly in the rainy night. Nonsense. Jiraiya was the first to get angry. He strode forward, blocking Tobirama's path like a wall, his spittle nearly splattering onto Tobirama's face. Kid, this isn't child's play. This is war. It's Hanzo, that monster known as the demigod. You're just a fresh out of school genin, barely out of school. What are you trying to prove? Get back to the main force and retreat. Tsunade frowned, her tone stern. Tobirama, listen to me. You have exceptional talent. You are the future of Konoha. Precisely because you are a genius, you must protect yourself even more now. Once you've grown up, you can fight however you want, but not now. Even Orochimaru let out a hoarse laugh. Uchiha brat, courting death is no virtue. Everyone treats him like a child. Treat him like fledglings that need protection. Tobirama looked at these 3 future legends and suddenly smiled. He ignored Jiraiya's loud voice and looked directly at Tsunade. Their gazes met directly, without yielding. Tsunade-sensei, you witnessed my strength on the way to the camp. Do you think I'm weak? This question stumped Tsunade. The images of the massacres along the way instantly flashed into her mind. He can easily defeat Chunin, fight Jonin head-on, and even possesses a chilling combat instinct. Weak? Are you kidding me? If you don't consider chakra reserves and experience, this kid's killing efficiency is higher than that of a typical Jonin. Tobirama stepped forward, his aura subtly emanating from him. I don't need anyone to protect me. Rather than let me cowardly run away and regret my weakness today on countless nights to come. Perhaps I should stay and kill a few more enemies. There were only Uchiha who died in battle, not Tobirama who fled. This statement resonated deeply. Several Konoha ninjas passing by were stunned, stopping in their tracks, their faces filled with shock. What an arrogant brat. What a hard bone. Tsunade stared intently into Tobirama's eyes. There was no fear in it, only a thirst for battle and a kind of absolute confidence. This kid is serious. Moreover, he is qualified. Tsunade, don't be foolish, Jiraiya exclaimed anxiously. Even if he has some talent, he's still a child. What if? Let him stay. Tsunade suddenly spoke, interrupting Jiraiya. Jiraiya's eyes nearly popped out of their sockets. Huh? Are you crazy? He's not an ordinary child. Tsunade turned around, facing the camp gate, her voice cold and hard, but only those who knew her well could hear the trust hidden within it. His strength is enough to survive on the battlefield. And, Tsunade turned around and gave Tobirama a deep look. I believe him. Just 4 simple words. It weighs as much as 1,000 pounds. Orochimaru raised an eyebrow in surprise, seemingly reassessing the value of this Uchiha boy. Tsunade walked up to Tobirama, bent down, and her brown eyes were full of seriousness. There is only one condition. If things are hopeless, run immediately. Don't risk your life for the sake of saving face, understand? Tobirama grinned, revealing a set of white teeth that shone brightly in the bleak, rainy night. Yes, teacher. Jiraiya was still in a frenzy. They're insane. They're all insane. Are the Senju and Uchiha people's thought processes all broken? Just then, boom! Exclamation mark quote. A deafening roar. The camp's wooden gate, along with the defensive towers on either side, was reduced to dust in an instant. A purple, poisonous mist surged in like a tsunami. Even from a great distance, you could smell that nauseating, sweet-smelling odor. Immediately afterwards, countless rain ninjas, dressed in raincoats and wearing breathing masks, surged over the defense line like a black tide. You scoundrels of Konoha, prepare to meet God's judgment. An aged yet domineering voice seemed to come from the heavens, carrying a terrifying pressure of chakra that made all the genin present feel a tightness in their chests and almost kneel down. Hanzo the salamander. He stood atop the head of a giant salamander, looking down with an indifferent gaze like that of a god. Kill, quote. With Hanzo's command, the Rain Ninja army launched a general offensive. The oppressive atmosphere was suffocating. The number of ninjas left behind in Konoha was already small, and seeing this display of strength, their morale was instantly crushed. It can't be stopped. That's Hanzo, the demigod of the ninja world. A sense of despair was spreading. The defenses crumbled at the first touch. Upon contact, more than a dozen Konoha ninjas fell in pools of blood. You all better stand up. Jiraiya roared and summoned Gamabunta, who charged directly into the enemy ranks. The art of unleashing a lion's mane. Orochimaru also summoned Manda, which rampaged across the battlefield. Tsunade even activated her superhuman strength mode, taking down an opponent with a single punch. The 3 legendary ninjas are starting to unleash their power. But on the other side of the defensive line, a group of Rain Ninja Chunin were grinning as they charged towards several lone wounded Konoha soldiers. This is Konoha? Utterly pathetic. Die. The blade is about to fall. Just then, a sharp, piercing flash of lightning tore through the darkness. Lightning release, 1,000 bird blades. Those Rain Ninjas who rushed to the front didn't even see what happened. His body froze. Immediately afterwards, a thin line appeared on their necks at the same time. Peefed. Fresh blood gushed out in unison, like some kind of eerie ritual. Tobirama stood amidst the corpses, holding a long sword. The 3 Tomoe Sharingan slowly rotated in the darkness, like 2 red lanterns. He wasn't wearing a raincoat. The cold rain lashed down on them, but it couldn't extinguish their burning fighting spirit. Passage is prohibited here. Tobirama spoke coldly. The surrounding Rain Ninjas were stunned for a moment, then flew into a rage. How dare a little brat block our way? Kill him. A dozen or so Rain Ninjas swarmed forward. Shuriken, kunai, and ninjutsu rained down upon them in a dense barrage. To ordinary people, this was a surefire way to die. But in Tobirama's eyes, who possessed the 3 Tomoe Sharingan, too slow. It's almost like slowing down the motion. Since you're in such a hurry to die. With a slight movement, Tobirama transformed into a blur and plunged into the crowd. There are no fancy hand seals. Only the purest and most refined physical and sword skills. A flash of blade, and a head will inevitably fall to the ground. Sidestep, swing the knife, backhand stab, spinning kick. Every movement was precise down to the millisecond, and every attack went straight for the vital points. This is the Uchiha-style killing technique. Ah, what is this brat? My hands, my eyes. The Rain Ninja, who had been so aggressive just moments before, collapsed to the ground in the blink of an eye. Blood mixed with rainwater, forming a small river at Tobirama's feet. He was alone, with only a knife. They forcefully nailed a nail into the collapsing defense line. Even when facing an enemy many times their size, even on this despairing battlefield. That 12-year-old figure was like an insurmountable mountain. Tsunade, who was some distance away, blasted the enemy away with a punch and glanced over here. When she saw Tobirama moving through the enemy ranks as if they were nothing, striking fear into the hearts of the enemy. A slight smile involuntarily crept onto her lips. Jiraiya, did you see that clearly? This is the disciple I have chosen. He will definitely have a place in the future ninja world. Episode 7 The names of the 3 legendary Sannin. Tobirama takes the place of Hanzo. Due to the performance of Tsunade, Jiraiya, and the 3 legendary Sannin, Hanzo finally decided to take action himself. The 4 quickly engaged in a fierce battle, but it was clear that the Sannin were no match for Hanzo at this stage. Spiritual Salmon. Accompanied by a massive plume of smoke, the highly venomous salamander named Ibuki opened its massive jaws, unleashing a torrent of purple poisonous mist that instantly engulfed the battlefield. Fire release, Great Inferno Bullet. Jiraiya roared, unleashing a torrent of flames to try and use the heat to block the spread of the poisonous mist. Orochimaru's hands transformed into countless venomous snakes, attempting to coil around Hanzo's limbs from a blind spot. Heavenly Guard Kick. Tsunade leaped from the sky, her kick, powerful enough to shatter mountains, aimed straight for Hanzo's skull. However, Hanzo merely snorted coldly. Body Flicker Technique. It was so fast that even the afterimage was barely visible. The venomous Kusarigama drew a deadly arc in the air, instantly severing Orochimaru's swarm of snakes. Then, using the momentum, he easily dodged Tsunade's heavy blow, and with a swift counterattack, unleashed a water release, Water Dragon Bullet infused with explosive tags, blasting Jiraiya away from mid-air. The toxins entered the lungs through respiration, instantly freezing the flow of chakra. In just 5 minutes, the 3, whose coordination was still rather inexperienced, were completely defeated. The center of the battlefield. The purple poisonous fog wreathed like a living thing, and the ground sizzled as it was corroded. Huff, huff. Jiraiya lay on the ground, panting heavily, his body covered in bloody wounds. Gamabunta had long been forced to discontinue his summoning due to poisoning. Orochimaru next to him wasn't in much better shape. His already pale face was now ashen, black blood trickled from the corner of his mouth, and his eyes were terrifyingly gloomy. Tsunade knelt on the ground, her 100 healing seal operating at full power, but her chakra was almost depleted. Powerful. That's incredible. Is this the power of the pinnacle of the ninja world? Above the giant salamander's head, Hanzo, wearing a breathing mask and holding a scythe, looked down at the 3 young people from Konoha. His gaze was as if he were looking at 3 struggling ants. To have survived so long under my command. You guys are great. Hanzo's voice was deep and domineering, piercing through the rain and making people's eardrums ache. Young people of Konoha, state your names. Jiraiya wiped the mud off his face, gritting his teeth. Jiraiya. Orochimaru. Tsunade. Hanzo nodded, the killing intent in his eyes slightly diminishing, replaced by a kind of condescension towards the strong. I cherish talent. Today, I will not kill you. Bear the name of the legendary Sannin of Konoha, and live on. This is the price for surviving that war, and also proof of your strength. The 3 ninja? It is a title of honor, but also a mark of shame. Because it means, to survive after defeat. Tsunade clenched her fists so tightly that her nails dug into her flesh. I'm not reconciled. But, I really can't beat them. Just as the 3 legendary ninjas were being banned. On the other side of the battlefield, the scene is completely different. There was no tragedy here, only Tobirama Uchiha's killing spree. Lightning release, 1000 birds sharp spear. A blue lightning spear instantly pierced through 3 rain ninja Chunin standing in a row. Peefed, like a string of candied hawthorns. With a flick of his wrist, Tobirama Uchiha unleashed a burst of lightning, instantly charring the 3 corpses to a crisp. Tobirama, watch your back. A Konoha Chunin screamed in terror. Taking advantage of a gap in Tobirama's attack, 2 rain ninja Jonin launched a sneak attack from a blind spot, their kunai aimed straight for Tobirama's back. Too slow. Tobirama didn't even turn his head. Those scarlet Sharingan eyes with their 3 tomoe had already seen everything clearly behind them. Substitution technique. Bang! A puff of smoke. The rain ninja's kunai struck a section of wooden stake. The next second, 2 flashes of cold light streaked across their necks. Tobirama appeared behind them, holding the sword in a reverse grip. 2 heads fell to the ground in an instant. Blood rained down, drenching the face of the Konoha Chunin who had warned him. The Chunin was dumbfounded. He's dead? Those were 2 elite Jonin. This boy couldn't even last a single round? Thank you. The Chunin stammered, his gaze towards Tobirama completely changed. It's no longer about watching Uchiha brats, but about seeing a lifeline, a war god. Thank you so much, Lord Tobirama, for saving my life. Lord Tobirama, some of our brothers are still surrounded. Without realizing it, the way the Konoha ninjas addressed Tobirama changed. The greeting changed from, hey you, to the respectful, sir. In this meat-grinder-like battlefield, the only thing that can keep them alive is their father. What arrogance of the Uchiha. FK it. That's called confidence. That's called the demeanor of a strong person. Tobirama didn't have time to pay attention to these compliments. His current feeling can be summed up in one word, awesome. The system notification sounds were frantically scrolling through his mind. Defeat a Chunin to earn money. Defeat a Jonin to earn money. Reputation value increased. Who says the ninja war is bad? The ninja war is fantastic. In just half an hour, more than 50 rain ninja have died by his blade. The rainwater in this area was stained a light red color. Quote. Hanzo, who was lecturing the three legendary ninjas, suddenly frowned. He smelled it. A strong, unmistakable stench of blood wafted in from his flank. Hanzo turned his head, his gaze piercing through the heavy rain. Then, his pupils suddenly contracted. Corpses littered the ground. And they were all ninjas wearing Amigakure uniforms. Amidst the pile of corpses, a black-haired boy was wiping the blood off his knife, looking around indifferently. The surrounding rain ninjas were terrified by his killings, forming a circle, and none of them dared to take a step forward. Who is that? Hanzo's voice carried a hint of anger. Those were his troops. Those were the elite troops he had painstakingly trained. One person actually killed a third of them? Reporting to Lord Hanzo, a rain ninja, covered in blood, scrambled over, his face contorted in grief. He's a monster. A little monster from Konoha. Even a Jonin couldn't withstand one of his strikes. Brothers, our brothers are almost all dead. Useless. Hanzo kicked the subordinate away, his face so dark it could drip water. I thought only these three young men from Konoha were capable of fighting. Unexpectedly, a truly big fish was missed. A brat from the Uchiha clan. Hanzo narrowed his eyes, his killing intent surging. Such a genius must not be allowed to live. If he grows up, he will definitely be a nightmare for Amigakure in the future. Whoosh. Hanzo moved. Body flicker technique. As a demigod in the ninja world, his speed is ridiculously fast. In an instant, he covered a distance of 100 meters and headed straight for Tobirama. Not good. Quote. Even though Tsunade was exhausted, she kept a close eye on Hanzo's movements. Seeing this, her heart nearly jumped out of her chest. Tobirama, watch out. Hanzo is going after you. This shout drew all the attention of the entire battlefield to Tobirama. The Konoha ninjas who had just been rescued by Tobirama felt their hearts sink instantly. Finish. They've been targeted by a demigod. This is beyond saving, even by divine intervention. That's a monster that even Tsunade and Jiraiya couldn't defeat together. Tobirama heard Tsunade's shout. He also felt the terrifying aura that was overwhelming him. It's like a mountain is collapsing towards you. But he didn't run away. They didn't even move a step. He slowly turned around, looking at the rapidly approaching figure, and the smile on his lips grew wider and wider. It's even a bit perverted. Finally, has it arrived? I've been waiting for you for ages, old deng. Run? Why run? His goal is to become a legend in the ninja world. What's the point of butchering miscellaneous fish? Only by going head-to-head with a demigod of the ninja world on this stage under the spotlight can one truly make a name for oneself. Mangekyo Sharingan, activate it. Tobirama gave a low shout. The tomoe in his eyes spun wildly, his dynamic vision turned up to the maximum. The chakra within his body burned like boiling magma. The time has come, now is the time to let the entire ninja world hear the name of Tobirama Uchiha. Uchiha-style Gale Sword. Instead of retreating, he advanced. Amidst the horrified, bewildered, and even infatuated gazes of all the Konoha ninja, who thought he had gone mad, the 12-year-old boy raised the knife. Charge! They charged towards the man standing at the pinnacle of the ninja world. Holy crap! Tobirama-sama has gone mad? Don't go. That's suicide. It's over. Is this the madness of the Uchiha clan? Rain Ninja responded with a harsh laugh. Ha ha ha. This kid's lost his mind. How dare they attack Lord Hanzo? That fool is courting death. Lord Hanzo could crush him with a single finger. Hanzo was momentarily stunned as he watched Tobirama rush towards him. Then, the admiration in his eyes deepened. What courage! Faced with this old man, not only did they not flee, but they even dared to draw their swords against me. You brat from Konoha, you're worthy of being remembered by this old man. I promise you a quick and painless death. Although Hanzo verbally expressed his appreciation, his actions showed no mercy. He swung his kusarigama, chain sickle, with a sudden burst of speed. The scythe, imbued with deadly poison, slashed through the air in a deadly arc, emitting a piercing shriek. He used half his strength in that strike. In his view, using only 50% of his strength to deal with a low-level ninja was already giving him a lot of face. Enough to cleave the opponent, knife and all, in two. It's getting closer. Closer. The distance between the two instantly closed to less than 5 meters. Tsunade closed her eyes in despair, unable to bear watching the carnage that was about to unfold. Jiraiya, even more anxious, roared, "You brat! Get out of the way!" Only Tobirama. He was smiling. Just as the scythe was about to strike. Boom! Clang! A deafening clang of metal clashing echoed through the heavens. Sparks flew. A massive shock wave swept outwards in all directions from the two individuals as the center. The rainwater evaporated instantly, forming a cloud of white mist. The entire audience was shocked. Tsunade suddenly opened her eyes. Yu Ren's mocking laughter stopped abruptly, like a duck being choked. For the first time, Hanzo's face, hidden beneath the mask, revealed an expression of horror. It blocked it? How is that possible? The smoke cleared. The boy remained standing in the same spot, without taking a single step back. The katana held by that thin arm firmly blocked Hanzo's kusarigama. Tobirama raised his head. Those crimson Mangekyo Sharingan eyes stared coldly at Hanzo. It's like staring at a dead person. A demigod? Tobirama chuckled softly, his tone extremely arrogant. Do you want to dance too? Episode 8. This is the true power of a god. Old deng. The rain stopped for a moment. It was shattered by the shock wave generated by the collision between the two. Hanzo's kusarigama was still trembling slightly, his hand numb. Through his breathing mask, his old eyes, which had seen countless people, were fixed on the boy in front of him. 12 years old. She was only 12 years old. He actually managed to catch a blow with half his strength with one hand? Good. Quote. Hanzo took a deep breath, his voice deep but filled with undisguised admiration. Kid from Konoha, your swordsmanship is very methodical, not just flashy. You're the first person at this age to have mastered a sword to this level. What I just said still stands, as long as you leave now. You talk too much nonsense. Tobirama abruptly interrupted the speech by this demigod of the ninja world, who was praising the talent of the ninja. He casually twirled his sword, his crimson Mangekyo Sharingan glowing eerily in the rain, his tone wildly arrogant. Hanzo, are you sure you're not mistaken? I don't need your praise, nor do I need your charity. I'm standing here today so that you can taste. Tobirama grinned, revealing a gleaming white smile. The taste of defeat. Hanzo's eyes instantly turned cold. They don't appreciate kindness. Since geniuses cannot be used by me, then I have no choice but to destroy them. Arrogant brat. Since you're so eager to die, I'll grant your wish. Body instantaneous movement technique. Hanzo's figure vanished instantly. It wasn't just a normal teleportation, it was an extreme speed so fast that even the afterimage was invisible. The next second, the venomous kusarigama, like a venomous snake emerging from its hole, lunged at Tobirama from all directions. Too slow. Tobirama didn't even turn around. As if its body had eyes, it tilted slightly to the left, barely avoiding the sharp edge of the scythe. Immediately afterwards, he swung the knife upwards with a backhand motion. When, quote, sparks flew everywhere. Their figures crisscrossed wildly in the rain. Quick! It's so fast that it's no longer visible to the naked eye. The surrounding rain ninja and Konoha ninja couldn't see the two's movements at all, they could only see sparks exploding in the air and hear the dense clang of metal on metal. Hanzo grew increasingly alarmed as the fight progressed. This kid's eyes, something's off. That's no ordinary 3 Tomoe gem. Those eerie patterns, that chillingly cold gaze. No matter how fast his body flicker technique is, no matter how tricky the angle of his kusarigama is, his opponent can always anticipate it 0.1 seconds in advance. It's like seeing the future. Fire release, great fireball technique. Tobirama seized an opening and formed a hand seal with one hand. Boom! A massive fireball erupted at extremely close range, splattering Hanzo's face directly. Water release, water wall. Hanzo reacted extremely quickly, creating a wall of water on the ground. When water and fire collide, a cloud of white mist instantly rises into the sky. Under the cover of the white mist, Hanzo was about to create some distance and regroup. Illusion. Shiranui. Tobirama's voice suddenly rang in his ears. Hanzo felt the scene before him change, and his body stiffened for a moment. Although he was a Kage-level expert and instantly broke the illusion, in a battle between masters, that one moment can mean life or death. Peeved. Tobirama's longsword had already slashed Hanzo's arm, sending up a spray of blood. Damn it! Hanzo roared and wildly swung his kusarigama, forcing Tobirama back. He looked at the wound on his arm, then at the unharmed boy opposite him, whose breathing was perfectly steady. A storm raged within me. They've been suppressed. He, a demigod of the ninja world, was actually being completely overwhelmed by a 12-year-old brat? Who would believe that? It's a lie, right? In the distance, Jiraiya stared wide-eyed, his jaw practically dropping to the ground. That Hanzo is injured? Tsunade was also stunned, her beautiful eyes filled with disbelief. She had just personally experienced Hanzo's terror. The suffocating sense of oppression still left her hands and feet ice cold. But now, that arrogant demigod was forced into a sorry state by Tobirama, who treated him like a cat playing with a mouse. Is this the power of the Uchiha clan? Orochimaru licked the blood from the corner of his mouth, a strange look flashing in his golden vertical pupils. Ren was devastated, as if she had lost her parents. That's their god. In their hearts, how could the invincible Lord Hanzo possibly lose to a mere brat from Konoha? Impossible. This must be an illusion. Lord Hanzo hasn't even used his full strength yet. This brat is doomed. In the center of the battlefield, Tobirama flicked the blood off his sword, looked at the panting Hanzo, and shook his head. Is this a demigod? That's a bit disappointing. If this is your full power, then today, the legend of Amigakure will be shattered. To kill someone is to destroy their spirit. Hanzo's breathing became heavy. Shame. An unprecedented disgrace. He threw away the kusarigama in his hand and slowly formed hand seals. His chakra began to surge wildly, forcing the surrounding rain to flow backward. Kid, you're really strong. I admit that you now have the right to speak with me as an equal. Hanzo's voice became extremely solemn. To show my respect for the strong, I will send you on your way with my strongest strike. Water release, ultimate technique, water dragon bite. With Hanzo's roar, the water on the ground instantly gathered, transforming into a terrifying water dragon 100 meters long, bearing its fangs and claws, hovering in the air with a world-destroying power. Those around, whether from Konoha or Amigakure, were forced to retreat repeatedly by this terrifying pressure, their faces turning pale. Good timing. Faced with a blow that could destroy the entire camp, Tobirama did not hide. He slowly sheathed his long sword. Those Mangekyo Sharingan eyes suddenly stopped spinning. All the patterns seemed to freeze together, emanating a chilling aura that sent shivers down one's spine. Hanzo, have you ever witnessed true power? Tobirama's voice was soft, yet it carried clearly throughout the entire room. Your so-called demigod is nothing but a joke in the face of true divine power. The Uchiha clan is feared not only because their eyes can see through people's movements, but because it can. Tobirama suddenly looked up, and the kaleidoscope pattern became completely clear to everyone. The embodiment of the divine. Susanoo. Boom. An ominous, chilling, yet immensely vast red chakra erupted from Tobirama's body in an instant. The chakra, like a tangible flame, shot straight into the sky, instantly dispersing the dark clouds. That is, amidst the horrified gazes of everyone present, a huge red skull appeared out of thin air and enveloped Tobirama. Immediately afterwards, meridians intertwine, flesh and blood are generated, and armor covers the body. In the blink of an eye, a red giant, hundreds of meters tall, stood majestically on the earth. It is clad in armor, wields an ancient shield, Yata no Kagami, and has a burning longsword, Totsuka no Tsurugi, hanging at its waist. It's like a demon god straight out of mythology. That seemingly terrifying water dragon appeared as insignificant as an eel before this red giant. What is this? Hanzo looked up at the colossal figure that blotted out the sky, his hands unable to form a proper hand seal. For the first time, the face beneath the mask revealed an expression called fear. That is the instinctive tremor that humans feel when faced with an unknown and incomprehensible powerful force. Is this an illusion? How could this be a power that a ninja could wield? The Rain Ninja were devastated. Some even dropped their weapons and knelt in the mud, trembling. Konoha was deathly silent. Tsunade covered her mouth, her pupils dilating in shock. This is the true power of the Uchiha clan? Was it this that Madara Uchiha used to fight my grandfather back then? On the forehead of Susanoo, Tobirama crossed his arms, looking down at Hanzo, who seemed like an ant. This feeling of being in control is simply intoxicating. Hanzo. Tobirama spoke softly, his voice amplified by Susanoo, sounding like a thunderclap. You just said you were going to send me on my way? Susanoo slowly raised its right hand. The enormous red hand gripped the Totsuka sword at his waist. The mere act of drawing a sword generated enough wind pressure to blow away all the surrounding tents. Now, quote, let me see if you can withstand a sword strike from a god. This was the power that quelled chaos back then. Episode 9 Hanzo loses an arm to survive. A desperate counterattack. Boom. There was no suspense whatsoever. The terrifying water dragon, hundreds of meters long and powerful enough to destroy half the camp, burst open like a fragile bubble the moment it collided with the red giant. The 10-fist sword wasn't even fully swung out. The spiritual fire burning on the sword alone evaporated the water dragon into a cloud of white mist. Hanzo stood rooted to the spot, his eyes, hidden behind his mask, bulging as if they were about to burst. This is the power of God? His prized secret technique couldn't even break through the opponent's defense? The red giant stood there like an insurmountable mountain, crushing all of Hanzo's pride and confidence in an instant. Hanzo, is that all you've got? Tobirama stood on Susanu's forehead, arms crossed, his eyes full of mockery. Weren't you just going to see me off on my way? What, didn't you eat? Ridicule. A blatant mockery. Hanzo's face turned a deep purplish red, and shame burned throughout his body like fire. Who is he? He is a man revered as a demigod in the ninja world. When have I ever suffered such humiliation? UB********************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** lost his composure, his reason was consumed by rage. He wildly swung the broken scythe in his hand, unleashing his instantaneous movement technique to its fullest extent. Water release, water waves. Explosive flame array. Secret technique, poison mist spray. Countless ninjutsu techniques were rained down on Susanoo as if they were free. The explosions were deafening, and flames shot into the sky. However, the smoke and dust cleared. The red giant didn't even have a single scratch on its paint. The Yatta mirror wasn't even revealed, it withstood all the attacks with just its ribs and armor. It's useless. Quote. Tobirama shook his head, as if watching a clown performance. Faced with absolute power, your struggles are as laughable as a baby throwing a punch. Since you're still not giving up. Tobirama's eyes turned cold. Susanoo's large hand swung violently. Like swatting a fly, he slammed it down hard on Hanzo. Hanzo felt the suffocating wind pressure coming from above, and was so frightened that his liver and gallbladder were about to burst. He roared and summoned the salamander and Ibuki again. The giant salamander had barely landed when it hadn't even had a chance to spray its venom. Peeved. The 10-fist sword had already landed. There's nothing fancy about it. Just like cutting melons and chopping vegetables. That highly poisonous salamander, which struck fear into the hearts of the ninja world, was pinned to the ground and killed with a single sword strike. The enormous body instantly burst into flames and was sealed inside the wine gourd in the blink of an eye, leaving not even ashes behind. Salamander. Hanzo was dumbfounded. His summoned beast, which had been with him for decades, was just gone. One sword kill. Next, it's your turn. Tobirama ignored the stunned Hanzo and instead controlled Susanoo, looking at the group of rain ninja who were already terrified. The 10-fist sword, several tens of meters long, swept horizontally. If even Hanzo couldn't withstand Susanoo, how could these rain ninja possibly contend with it? Run, run fast. This is a devil, this is a monster. The rain ninjas were devastated, scattering and crying out in despair. But how can a human leg outrun a 40-meter-long broadsword? Rumble. A sword aura swept across. The earth cracked and the trees were pulverized. Dozens of rain ninjas didn't even have time to scream before they were crushed into mincemeat by the terrifying sword energy. The once formidable rain ninja army was now largely wiped out in the blink of an eye. Blood flowed like a river. A true bloodbath. On Konoha's side, everyone was stunned. Are Tsunade-sama's disciples really that powerful? Hanzo watched this scene, his heart clenching violently. We lost. We've lost completely. Forget about being a demigod. Compared to this power, he's nothing. If we keep fighting, we'll all lose our lives here. Withdraw. Hanzo gritted his teeth and issued his final command. Without any hesitation, he turned and ran. He activated the body instant technique, transforming into a blur as he dashed into the depths of the rain. Trying to run away? Tobirama was engrossed in the fight when he saw that figure scurrying away like a mouse, and his brow furrowed. You think you can just show off and leave? No way. Susanoo is too clumsy, he can't catch you, can he? Then let's try this. Tobirama dispelled Susanoo, and his right eye suddenly widened. Blood streamed down his cheek through his kaleidoscope Sharingan. Focus your gaze. Lock onto that sprinting figure. Amaterasu. Call. A ball of black flame appeared out of thin air on Hanzo's right arm. It has no heat, yet it burns everything. Ah! Hanzo, who was fleeing, suddenly let out a shrill scream and fell from midair, crushing heavily into the muddy water. What kind of fire is this? Water release. Annihilate them. Hanzo frantically used water jutsu to wash his right arm, even rolling around in the mud. But the black flames, like a persistent carbuncle, not only did not extinguish, but burned even more fiercely, beginning to spread towards his shoulder. Ah! A pain that penetrates to the very soul. Hanzo stared at the eerie black flames, a surge of immense fear rising within him. If left unattended, the fire will burn him to ashes. Damn it! Damn Uchiha! Hanzo was a ruthless man. At this critical moment of life and death, a ruthless glint flashed in his eyes. Snap! With a swift movement, the knife fell. He actually picked up the sickle with his left hand and severed his entire right arm at the root. Blood gushed out, staining half of his body red. The severed arm, engulfed in black flames, fell to the ground, instantly burning a large crater. Uchiha Tobirama. Hanzo clutched his severed arm, his face deathly pale, his eyes filled with a venomous hatred like those of a demon from hell. I'll remember this debt. Although I have lost today, you will not have an easy time. Explode. With a roar, the spot where the salamander had just been pinned to death by the Totsuka sword suddenly exploded. A huge venom sac ruptured. The purple poison gas spread instantly, becoming more than 10 times more concentrated than before. Under the cover of the poison gas, Hanzo endured the excruciating pain, transformed into a stream of water, and disappeared underground. You're lucky you ran fast. Tobirama covered his bleeding right eye and did not chase after him. Amaterasu had taken a toll on his eye power, and coupled with activating Susanoo for half a day, he was also a little tired. And this poison gas is a bit troublesome. The purple poisonous fog quickly filled the entire camp. Cough cough cough. Ugh, I feel so dizzy. The Konoha ninja who were just cheering fell down in droves. This poison is Hanzo's most treasured secret, even inhaling just a tiny bit can numb the nerves. Even the legendary Sannin were no exception. Jiraiya and Orochimaru collapsed to the ground, foaming at the mouth. Although Tsunade had antibodies and was desperately using medical ninjutsu to detoxify, her face turned purplish blue, and she was on the verge of collapse. The only one standing in the entire venue. Only Tobirama. Health Weasel template ability, immunity to all poisons, active. The system notification sounds are simply heavenly. Tobirama took a deep breath of the poisonous gas, feeling it was similar to inhaling second-hand smoke. It wasn't a big deal. He looked around. The Rain Ninja have all fled, and Hanzo is finished. The area around Konoha was littered with fallen bodies. He is now the sole commander here. Don't panic. Tobirama's voice pierced through the poisonous fog, though not loud, it carried a reassuring calmness. Those who aren't dead, those who can still move, put on your gas masks. Immediately move the most severely poisoned people to an upwind location. Medical team, get to work. Those Konoha ninjas who were initially panicked or disoriented felt as if they had found their pillar of support upon hearing this voice. They struggled to lift their heads and looked at the unharmed boy standing in the poisonous fog. The look in his eyes no longer held the care and affection one would show to a younger generation. It is worship. Fanatical worship. He cut down dozens of people with a single slash, piloted a Gundam to fight against a demigod, and finally forced Hanzo to lose an arm to survive. This deserves their respect. Yes, Tobirama-sama. Quickly, listen to Lord Tobirama. Get moving. Everyone, get the hell moving. The once chaotic camp was instantly brought into order by Tobirama's single sentence. Even the most experienced jonin were obediently following orders without uttering a single unnecessary word. In this ninja world where strength reigns supreme, might makes right. Right now, Tobirama's fist is the biggest. Tobirama quickly walked to Tsunade's side. The Tsunade princess who was just exuding domineering aura is now kneeling on the ground, her consciousness somewhat blurred. Tsunade-sensei, can you still hold on? Tobirama reached out and supported her. It was scalding hot to the touch. The poison, the toxin is too strong. Tsunade groggily opened her eyes and saw Tobirama, her tense nerves finally relaxed. Tobirama, the rest is up to you. After saying that, her body went limp and she collapsed into Tobirama's arms. Tobirama sighed, looking at the voluptuous, yet incredibly weak, strong woman in his arms. Fine, since you're my teacher. Tobirama scooped Tsunade up in his arms. The ninjas who hadn't yet fainted saw this scene, but they all kept their eyes down, busy moving the wounded, and no one thought much of it. Tobirama lifted the tent flap and strode inside. Next, it's time for treatment. Episode 10 Tsunade's unexpected transformation. Master and disciple's relationship turns so. The medical tent was dimly lit. The rain outside continued to patter, and the occasional groan of a wounded soldier made the small space feel even more oppressive. Tsunade's face was purplish blue, and her breathing was rapid and weak. The usually fiery and energetic Tsunade, who could smash through a wall with a single punch, had vanished. Now, she resembled a rain-soaked kitten, weakly curled up under the covers. Those usually bright and sparkling brown eyes were now half open and half closed, unfocused. Doorway. Tsunade turned her head with difficulty and looked at the boy sitting on the edge of the bed. Am I going to die? Hanzo's poison was very powerful, at least during the Second Shinobi World War. The Rain Village was so strong precisely because of his poison. Even though she was from the Thousand Hands clan and had a special constitution, she was about to reach her limit. Tobirama was wiping the cold sweat from her forehead with a damp towel when he heard this, and his hand paused for a moment. What nonsense are you talking about? Tobirama glared at her, but his movements were very gentle. A scourge lives on for 1,000 years. A woman like you, capable of shattering a floorboard with a single step, even the king of hell wouldn't dare take you, lest you demolish his Yama's palace. Normally, Tsunade would have jumped up and given him a good whack on the head. But now, she could only manage a pathetic twitch of her lips, revealing a smile that was more like a grimace. Ha, you little brat, still so sharp-tongued at a time like this. Tsunade sighed, her eyes becoming somewhat unfocused, as if she were rambling on in a final burst of energy before death. I'm not reconciled. I'm only in my early 20s, the best age of my life. I haven't become a Hokage as great as my grandfather. I haven't been able to restore the glory of the Senju clan. As she said this, a tear slid down her cheek. And then there's Rope Tree, that idiot brother of mine. If I weren't here, with his headstrong personality, he definitely wouldn't survive 3 days on the battlefield. Tsunade's voice grew hoarse as she spoke, the fear and regret of facing death finally shattering her forced strength. The biggest loss is... Tsunade suddenly gave a self-deprecating laugh, her eyes fixed on the top of the tent. I'm still single after all these years. All I do every day is gamble and do tasks. I've never even properly held a man's hand. Do you think my life has been a failure? Hearing this, Tobirama raised an eyebrow, feeling a little strange. Kato's decision? What happened to that pretty boy who used his spirit transformation technique to bewitch Tsunade in the original story? Oh, right. The butterfly effect. In this life, Tsunade was always on the front lines, facing challenges head-on, and had no chance to run into Kato Dan in the logistics department. No lover, no unresolved issues. Tsunade right now is like a blank sheet of paper. Since you're so unwilling to accept this, then live and achieve it yourself. Tobirama threw the towel into the basin of water, splashing a drop of water. That idiot Rope Tree, you deal with him yourself. Don't ask me to entrust my younger brother to you, I can't be bothered with him. As for dating... Tobirama suddenly leaned down, his young yet angular face close to Tsunade's, until their noses almost touched. They could hear each other's breath. I could reluctantly grant you that wish. Tsunade was stunned. She looked at the boy who was so close to her. With his striking eyebrows, bright eyes, and high nose bridge, he was the most handsome man in the entire ninja world. That makes sense, after all, he's from the Uchiha clan, a family known for producing handsome men. My heart skipped a beat. But this stubborn girl is used to being defiant, and she won't back down even now. Cut. Tsunade turned her head away, but her ears secretly turned red. You brat, you're not even fully grown yet, and you're already trying to take advantage of your teacher? But, she seemed to have come to a realization, then turned her head and looked at Tobirama with a mixture of mockery and resignation. If there really is an afterlife, or maybe I'm just lucky to have survived this time. It's not impossible. After all, you're quite handsome and capable, you're worthy of me. Just consider this your way of comforting me, a dying person, in my final moments. Tsunade's voice grew softer and softer, her eyelids drooped, and the toxins began to erode her brain. Who said it was end-of-life care? Tobirama suddenly reached out and grabbed Tsunade's chin, forcing her to look at him. Tsunade, listen to me clearly. I've remembered what you just said. Don't try to deny it now that you're better. Now, I'm going to detoxify you. You only need to do one thing, trust me. Tsunade looked at him dazedly, her eyes unfocused. Antidote. Don't be ridiculous. I can't even handle Hanzo's poison myself. It needs a lab. It needs time. You don't know any medical ninjutsu. If there's enough time, I'm confident you could be an excellent medical ninja, but... She is a medical expert. She understood the complexity of the semi-contained toxin better than anyone else. Prepare the antidote on site. Even if the second Hokage were resurrected, it would be impossible. Is this kid just trying to make himself happy? Look into my eyes. Tsunade glanced over instinctively. There was no joking in those eyes. Only perseverance. He possessed an absolute confidence that seemed to allow him to withstand anything, even if the sky were to fall. In a daze, Tsunade seemed to see again that figure in the rainy night, piloting the red giant and crushing a water dragon with one hand. The boy who stood before a vast army and told her, there are only Uchiha who die in battle, not Tobirama who runs away. He has created miracles. Maybe. Will it be the same this time? Reason told her it was nonsense, but intuition led her to blindly follow. Good. Tsunade uttered a single word with difficulty, a weak hint of trust appearing at the corner of her lips. I believe you. I've given you my life. Do whatever you want with me. After saying that, she completely relaxed her body and let Tobirama do as he pleased. Tobirama breathed a sigh of relief. Done. System, open the store. Consciousness sank into the mind. Host, Uchiha Tobirama. Current money, 530,000. This is what we gained from that battle. Dozens of rain ninja heads, plus a huge reward for defeating Hanzo and killing the salamander. This is what it means to get rich overnight. Redeem. Without hesitation, Tobirama waved his hand. Ding! 300,000 coins spent to exchange for master-level medical ninjutsu mastery. Ding! 100,000 coins spent to redeem perfect antidote for Hanzo toxin in salamander, recipe +1 finished product. Brush! 2 massive streams of information instantly flooded my mind. Tobirama, who originally knew nothing about medicine, suddenly felt like he had become the top medical ninja. Chakra scalpel, palm healing technique, cell activation. This knowledge is as clear as if it were already in my memory. A green test tube appeared out of nowhere in his hand. This is a life-saving medicine worth 100,000 points. Is this what it feels like to be cheating? It's so awesome. Tobirama's lips curled slightly. The antidote that would take days and nights to analyze in reality can be delivered instantly by the system. With enough money, even the King of Hell can snatch someone away. Bear with it, it might hurt a little. Tobirama removed the stopper from the test tube, lifted Tsunade's neck with one hand, and fed her the medicine with the other. Tsunade no longer had the strength to swallow. A little bit of the medicine dripped down the corner of his mouth. This is so troublesome. Tobirama frowned, looking at that pale yet breathtakingly beautiful face, and those slightly parted pale pink lips. He made a decision that went against the ethics of being a disciple, but was very much in line with what a man should do. He tilted his head back and took a mouthful of the medicine himself. Then he bent down. He kissed her. Although Tsunade was in a daze, the touch on her lips made her body tremble violently. The warm medicine was transferred over. It carries the air of youth, along with a domineering sense of aggression. She instinctively wanted to push him away, but her hands were weak and rested on Tobirama's shoulders, making it seem as if she was playing hard to get. A few minutes later, Tobirama released his mouth, licked his lips, and seemed unsatisfied. This medicine, it's quite sweet. On the bed, Tsunade's originally purplish-blue complexion visibly reddened. His breathing became steady and strong. Hanzo's poison has been cured. But there's another kind of poison that I'm afraid I'll never be able to cure in this lifetime. Tsunade's eyelashes trembled, and she slowly opened her eyes. The lifelessness in his eyes had vanished, replaced by a hint of shame and anger, and a barely concealed panic. Just now, although she was confused, she could still sense it. My first kiss. I've kept my first kiss for over 20 years. It was just taken away by this traitor? And, using such a cliché excuse as giving medicine. Tsunade was about to explode, but then she seemed to remember something. She lay back down, her face as red as a ripe apple. The poison has been neutralized. Tobirama sat on the edge of the bed, his face radiating righteous indignation, as if he hadn't been the one who had just taken advantage of the situation. Tsunade-sensei, you just said. As long as you're not dead, you'll agree to my request. Now, it's time for you to keep your promise. Tsunade was so angry she wanted to grind her teeth at this brat who was acting innocent after getting the benefit. But a sense of security I had never felt before welled up inside me. He really did it. He saved her life from the clutches of a demigod and cured her of the fatal poison. This man. It's a bit small, but it seems really reliable? Besides, she was the princess of Konoha, and also this brat's teacher. It wouldn't be good to go back on her word. Snort. Tsunade gave a haughty snort, buried her head in the blankets, and her muffled voice came out. Let's wait until you survive to the end on the battlefield. Tobirama smiled. No refusal means consent. This was a huge profit. Then please rest well, teacher. As for the medical ninjutsu, please keep it a secret for me. Say that you just developed the antidote and haven't had a chance to use it yet, and that I'm just retrieving it for you.